This theory is the league said to the Mavs, send the Lakers Luka and we'll give you Cooper Flagg.
How do you do that? How do you do that? What the hell is going on?
Remember what you saw with your own eyes about what the Dallas Mavericks did after trading away Luka. Did they act like a team that was trying to have lottery balls?
But how about this? You trade Cooper Flagg for Giannis. And then you trade Anthony Davis for Kevin Durant.
Imagine landing the most coveted young talent in basketball because of a coin toss. In spring 2025, a coin flip gave Dallas a slight edge over Chicago, 1.8% odds for the number 1 pick. It was a long shot, but against all expectations, they hit the jackpot, leaping from 11th to number 1. And with it, they claimed Cooper Flagg, a teenage phenom already being called the next face of the league. But that's not even the craziest part, because just as Dallas fans started dreaming of a Flagg-Luka future, a nuclear rumor detonated across the league. Giannis Antetokounmpo, 2-time MVP, finals hero, and still one of the most dominant players alive, might be available in a trade. Suddenly, the Mavericks had a decision that could shape the NBA for a generation. Do they gamble on the unproven promise of Cooper Flagg, or do they go all in for Giannis and risk it all for a title now? To understand how this wild scenario became possible, we've got to rewind to the moment the miracle began. The 1.8% miracle, Dallas defies gravity. What makes this whole situation even crazier is that Dallas didn't even try to tank. While other teams quietly embraced losing to chase draft positioning, the Mavericks went the opposite way. They traded for Anthony Davis. They leaned on Kyrie Irving in crunch time. They were clawing for wins in April. And yet, through sheer luck, or maybe fate, they ended up holding the top pick anyway. That pick turned into Cooper Flagg, a 6'9" phenom from Maine who'd been making noise since high school. The basketball world was stunned. Fans rejoiced. Some fans whispered about a rigged lottery, as always.
Oh yeah, they rigged the lottery.
Even NBA stars were in disbelief. Patrick Mahomes, a Texas native, might tweet his excitement for the Mavs' win. But as excitement spread, so did another question. How good is Cooper Flagg really? And that question opens the door to something even more explosive. Cooper Flagg, the promise of tomorrow. Cooper Flagg isn't just talented, he's generational. By 19, he'd already outshined top talent in AAU, dominated for Duke, and left his fingerprints on every Team USA camp he attended. With a 7-foot wingspan, elite court awareness, and a defensive motor that never quits, he's already being called a future all-defensive first-team lock. Offensively, he's no slouch either. Flagg shot 38% from 3 at Duke, showed a refined mid-range jumper, and attacked the rim like he had something to prove.
Flagg pulls up, and a chance for 3!
Think Kawhi Leonard's defensive IQ mixed with shades of Jason Tatum's offensive smoothness. And then came the Combine. Scouts project Flagg will measure taller and dominate the 2025 Combine. Fans are hyping him as a LeBron-like talent, but he's still unproven. And for every LeBron, there's a risk like Anthony Bennett. But here's the thing, he's still just a prospect. No NBA minutes, no postseason scars, no proof he can lead a team. And as we've seen before, for every LeBron, there's a Ben Simmons. So if the Mavericks want to win now, is it worth waiting 5 years for Flagg to become who everyone thinks he'll be? That's where the Giannis' dilemma comes in.
I'm not convinced he's going to be a superstar. I definitely don't think he'll ever be as good as Giannis. And Giannis is 30.
Giannis, a window to contend. Today, let's say it happens. The Bucks flame out early in the 2025 playoffs. Again, Giannis grows frustrated. Maybe it's coaching, maybe it's roster decay, maybe he just wants something new. Suddenly, the Greek freak is open to a trade. The NBA freezes, and the Mavericks, with the golden ticket in hand, are one of the few teams that can make a competitive offer. Why does Giannis matter? Because even at 30, he's still terrifying.
Spins and finishes with up that pass play. Here's Chris. Giannis lets it off.
Averaging a projected 30-12-6 with elite defense and unmatched energy, Giannis is a system all by himself. Sure, the three-point shot still isn't there, And yeah, the free throws can get shaky.
There's holes in the wall.
There's holes in the wall, and that wall. You got something for that wall.
Uh-oh.
But he's a proven playoff performer, a leader, a finals MVP, the kind of player that shifts gravity on both ends of the floor. If Dallas pulls this off, they could form a big three: Giannis, Anthony Davis, and Kyrie Irving. But at what cost? Let's break it down. The price of a superstar, what Dallas gives up. Giannis won't come cheap. Even if Milwaukee is forced into a rebuild, they'll want the world for their franchise cornerstone. Dallas could offer Flagg, Klay Thompson, if re-signed, Daniel Gafford, a top-tier rim protector, PJ Washington, and a future first-round pick. It's a hefty package, but Milwaukee might want more for Giannis. That's youth, depth, defense, and spacing all headed out the door. And it raises one major concern. Can a big three of Giannis, AD, and Kyrie actually work? Because here's the catch. If any one of them gets hurt or the chemistry doesn't click, Dallas just mortgaged their entire future for nothing. But even if they don't do the deal, someone else might. The Spurs lurking in the shadows. San Antonio isn't talking much, but they're watching everything. They have Victor Wembanyama, who's already evolving into a 7-4 cheat code. They have the number 2 pick in the 2025 draft. They have Stephon Castle, a rising guard, and they have a treasure chest of first-round picks from teams like Atlanta and Chicago. If Giannis becomes available, the Spurs could offer the number 2 pick, Castle, a potential star guard, and multiple future firsts from teams like Atlanta and Chicago, though some picks may have protections. For Milwaukee, it's a chance to hit the reset button with a young core. For San Antonio, it's the stuff of nightmares for everyone else. Giannis and Wemby in the same front court? That's not just a contender. That's a decade of dominance, and it would leave Dallas kicking themselves for not acting sooner. But even if the Mavericks do land Giannis, the story's not over. The Kyrie X factor, a risk hiding in plain sight. Kyrie Irving is still magic. At 33, he's putting up elite numbers and burying game winners with ice in his veins. But the reality? If Kyrie, now 33, suffers an injury as he has before, Giannis and Davis lose their floor general, risking chemistry issues. No one to create rhythm. No one to slow the game down when things get tight. Add in the chemistry gamble, 2 front-court superstars and a ball-dominant guard, and you have a volatile mix. It could work beautifully or combust just as fast. Now compare that with the quieter path, keeping Flagg, letting him develop beside Kyrie and Davis, building a bridge between now and the future. But that means asking fans and your aging stars to wait. And in the NBA, patience is a luxury few teams can afford. The rest of the league, sharks in the water. While Dallas debates, the rest of the league sharpens its knives. Houston has the assets, Alperen Şengün, Jalen Green, future picks. They could tempt Milwaukee into a retool, forming a new big three of their own. Oklahoma City has Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and a mountain of draft picks. Denver still has Jokic. Phoenix, Minnesota, Memphis, all loaded. Even with Giannis, nothing is guaranteed. And without him, the Mavericks could easily be a first-round exit. No matter what Dallas chooses, the West isn't waiting. And that brings us to the ultimate question. Flagg or Giannis? The franchise fork in the road. So here it is. Option 1, keep Cooper Flagg. Rookie contract, future superstar, cap flexibility. Con, long development timeline, risk of unproven talent, waste Davis's prime. Option 2, trade for Giannis. Pro, title contention now, big three dominance, maximize the window. Con, depth destroyed, youth gone, no safety net if it fails, and looming behind it all, the Spurs. If Dallas hesitates, San Antonio could swoop in, pair Giannis with Wembanyama, and become the NBA's new empire. It's not just a trade decision, it's a legacy decision, a league waiting to be rewritten. In the end, it all started with a coin flip. A 1.8% miracle gave Dallas a future star. But that same miracle might give them the leverage to land one of the greatest players of this generation. What's more valuable, the promise of what might be, or the power of what already is? That's the question haunting Dallas's front office, because one decision could create a dynasty, or destroy one. The clock is ticking. What would you do?